what's up? This is your girl Kathy Dior, and I'm here to give you guys a full book review / summary about this book, Will Smith, written with Mark Manson. So if you guys want to hear about this book while I do my makeup and achieve this look, guys, stay tuned. Before we jump into this look, let me show you guys what I purchased, because like you guys know, I'm always purchasing something every time I go outside. So today while I went outside, I picked up the Maybelline eyeliner in the color The Blackest Black 950, and this is the gel eyeliner. And look, I'm gonna open it because I want you guys to see it. The brush, normally the brush comes straight, but this time the brush is actually curved. Do you guys see it? I honestly thought it was an error, but this gotta be like really good for when you're putting on your eyeliner to get an angle. So I didn't try it yet, so we'll see. I also purchased this Wet n Wild retractable eyebrow pencil in the color brown, deep brown, and I'm gonna open it. This pencil is supposed to be like a crayon. I don't know how well it'll work. You could bring it up and bring it down. I normally like pencils that you could sharpen because these sometimes tend to break. And on the other side, it has a spoolie. This is from Wet n Wild. I just saw it and I was just like, you know what? Let me just grab it and try it. I also picked up a regular pencil, eyebrow pencil from Wet n Wild, and this is in the color 603A. It's called Brown Now. And I went ahead and I purchased a beauty sponge from Morphe. I honestly never tried the beauty sponges from Morphe. So every time I always say I'm gonna try it, I never do, because I either like the Beauty Blender or I like the Real Technique one. If you ladies think that beauty blenders are too expensive because they cost $20, you guys could get a Real Technique one to feel just like the Beauty Blender. But this right here is a little bit more firm. I didn't wet it. I'll let you guys know the next time I do a video how it feels, because I don't feel like getting up to wet it right now. I want to jump right into this look. So stay tuned. I lied to you guys. When I originally heard about the whole entanglement with Jada Pinkett, I was like, oh, I gotta find out about, you know, what's going on. That was my real reason about purchasing this book, because right after the whole entanglement situation, this book came out. So I wanted to read the book to find out more about the whole situation, you know, just regular gossip. But as I began to read this book, it was really good. So I definitely do recommend this book. Let's get into it. So let me put my eye color in my eyelids. So now the first thing that Will Smith talk about in this book is his name. His name is Willard Smith, and he was named after his dad. And his father was somebody who grew up in Philadelphia, and he was kind of like a bad kid. So his parents and them sent him away to Job Corps. And while he was away to Job Corps, he ended up getting expelled. So when he got expelled, he enlisted to the military. And when he enlisted to the military, it was kind of him being rebellious to his parents. He fell in love with being in the military, and one night while gambling in the military, he left out and he put all his money, because he won about $2,000, and he left out to go somewhere. And when he left, he came back to find out that somebody stole his money, the same guys that he was gambling with. So he went ahead and he got his service gun, and he decided to shoot after the guys. So instead of arresting him, they just let him go. They didn't keep him. He was discharged from the army. So he came back and he owned a barbershop. And while he owned the barbershop, he had this wall that needed to be rebuilt, but he refused to he refused to get workers to take care of the wall for him. So he decided that he was gonna let his two sons, Will Smith and Will Smith's brother, build the wall and fix it for him. So every day they had this extremely long wall that they had to fix, and they felt like, oh man, like they would never get done. So a lot of the times, like, they would complain, and they would spend most of their summer putting this wall together. And one day the father, which Will Smith refers to him as Daddy-O, came out and he told him, this is not a wall, you're building a brick by brick. And he said once him and his brother got that concept that, you know, we're taking it brick by brick, building a wall didn't seem so much longer. So that's how he began to live his life, basically saying, like, take a day at a time, don't worry about the big picture, just take a day at a time. So Will Smith was introduced into rap because his cousin was a troubled kid that his mom sent him to Philadelphia to live with Daddy-O because Daddy-O had a strict structure. So while living with Daddy-O, the cousin started getting cassette tapes from people who recorded rap battles on the street in New York. And Will Smith took a liking to it. Well, he took a love to it. He began writing his own raps, and he actually became one of the best for that era. Of course, you guys know the rap from back then isn't like the way how the rap is now. He started dating a Muslim girl who had a problem with her aunt. Her aunt was really strict. So one day her aunt kicked her out, and Will Smith convinced his mom for her to come live with them, and he was gonna help pay rent. And the mother finally agreed that she could come live with them, and the girl was supposed to stay in the basement and Will Smith was supposed to stay upstairs in his room. However, one night Will Smith and the girl decided to have a sexual encounter downstairs and in the kitchen, and the mom caught them, and the mom was very disappointed. So his rap career started getting really big because he made a song, and he met DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the name of the song, I believe, is Girls Ain't No Good, and that song blew up. So once that song blew up, he started going on tours, and he was loving it. And while he was going on tour, he told his girlfriend, her name is Melinda, he told her, Melanin, I believe her name is, he told her that he was gonna provide a home for her. So while he was on tour, he didn't sleep with no girls, at least that's what he said. He didn't sleep with any girls. He told all his friends that, you know, you can't have these girls around, like, I'm trying to stay focused. And although he was trying to stay focused, she was back at home having an affair with one of her co-workers. And the day that he finally saved up enough money to move his grandmother into a elderly assistant home. This is a place that the grandmother wanted to go. He bought the grandmother's house. And when he went to go tell the girl Melanin that, you know, this is our home, something was off, and she confessed to him that she slept with a guy. All right, so now speeding past that, Will Smith's father began to open a refrigerator company. It was like the smartest idea, right? So they would produce a lot of ice, so a lot of companies will request for ice. So a lot of the kids in the community worked for Will Smith's father because he was, like, you know, really strict, and it was a summer job. It was something for them to do during summertime. So between going on tour and everything, Will Smith will still refer back to working in the ice shop. And the father was so smart. He learned how to do heating system. So he disconnected his whole heating system, and he decided to fix people heating system. That way he will have to test it for about 10 days, and after the 10 days of testing it, he will have to give it back and somebody else will give their own. So while he's testing it in his house is getting heated, so he decided to disconnect his whole heating system. So that was like the most genius idea. So he kept his house warm for free. His mother was a nurse, and she was a strong believer on education. Like, education was everything. So while she was a strong believer on education, she gave Will Smith a option. Is either you're gonna see if your rap career blow up, or you're gonna go to school. And she was so disappointed because she really thought, like, you need to go to college. I don't care about you becoming a rapper, anything like that. You need to go to college. He decided that he was going to give it 1 year. That was their decision. Give it 1 year, and if he don't blow up, then he has to go to college. During his rap career, he started talking about his grandmother, how worthy of a person she was, how a strong believer on God she was. One day she took in this homeless lady that she saw passing, and when she saw the homeless lady passing, she asked her what's her name, and she decided to take the homeless lady into her house and give her a bath all by herself. Washed her with her own hand and clothed her, and fed her, not leftovers, cooked her a whole meal just to make her feel good. And the grandmother belief was that in order for you to love God or to feel the presence of God, you have to share that with other people. So that's how she's describing the book, like a very caring person, nurturing person to many other people. A thing that stuck out to me the most inside of his book is that Will Smith met Jazzy Jeff as a DJ. You guys know who Jazzy Jeff is, right? That's Jazz from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was a popular DJ, and back then DJs was more important than rappers. So that became his DJ, and he kept his same friends that he grew up with. He employed all of them. He took them on tour with them, and everybody fell into a category. So Jazzy Jeff had a best friend who was older, and he was already a lawyer. He went to school for law, and that actually became Will Smith leader on everything. Like, he tell Will Smith, pitch all Will Smith ideas and tell him what's right and what's wrong. So now these people are actually still around with Will Smith. So he's actually still around with Will Smith, and they needed a bodyguard. And the bodyguard back in the days wasn't somebody that you actually hired. It was somebody like the biggest person that you basically know. So they knew a guy who used to hustle on the corner, and they decided to ask him. His name is Charlie Mack, and Charlie Mack is actually the guy who spins Will Smith around in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the intro. That's who Charlie Mack is. So all these people, he kept them around his whole life. Even when he went to Africa, Will Smith was requested to play the role of Muhammad Ali. And while he was requested to play the role of Muhammad Ali, he had to train like a real fighter. The guy who they asked to train him was actually a professional boxer, but he got expelled from boxing because when the referee had called the final bell to, like, I guess to stop, he kept hitting him and he almost killed the guy. So now that guy decided that he was going to train people on movies. And this guy didn't train you like you're an actor. He trained you like he was a fighter. So everybody that was around had to actually train. So if you was the person that was holding the camera, you had to train just like them. You had to run when Will run. You had to eat when Will eat. If you was just any entourage, they had to train the same way. So Will Smith met Muhammad Ali. He expressed that Muhammad Ali wanted him to actually play the part of the movie, because he felt like, you know, there's nobody else that could do it besides you. So they went ahead and they filmed in Africa, because I guess Muhammad Ali had a fight in Africa. So that was the final scene. And when he went to Africa, he was actually, him and his entire entourage was actually invited to Nelson Mandela's house. So while they was greeted really well, and while he went to Nelson Mandela's house, Nelson Mandela family cooked for him. Well, for all of them. They sat down, they ate dinner, and Nelson Mandela and Will Smith actually had a private conversation. And Up to the day that he died, Nelson Mandela wrote Will Smith every year telling him, come and have a chat with me, come sit down. And one of Will Smith's biggest regrets is that he didn't have a chance to actually go back and sit down with him, because he felt like Nelson Mandela looked up to him so much and he didn't want to meet with him and live up to his expectations. So I thought that was like such a big deal that Will Smith kept his friends. Like, they all went with him to Africa. Everybody who he came up with, like, he never left nobody. Will Smith's father was abusive, and Will Smith talked about being a coward a lot. Like, he wanted to be a people pleaser. So whatever it took for him to make somebody happy, that's exactly what he did. So throughout his whole life, he referred to himself as a coward. Like, he never knew how to fight until he played the Muhammad Ali role, and he never knew how to stand up for himself. His mother used to get beat by his dad, and he never took up for his mom, as per his brother used to take up for his mom. So he always felt like he was a coward. Will Smith also started expressing that how he ended up meeting his first wife, Sharice. Sharice is his first wife, and originally Jada Pinkett came to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show to audition to be Will Smith's girlfriend, but because she was so short, they didn't take her, they didn't keep her. So she was upset. So when Will Smith saw her walking down the hallway, he was like, hey baby, what's up? And she was like, she didn't say this words, she said the beep, you know. She was like, boy, get out of here. And she walked away. So he just knew he had to have her, and he knew what set she was working on. So he decided to go and interrupt the set, sit in the audience, and make a whole big uproar while he was there. So now when he got there, he met this girl named Sharice. Sharice was sitting with one of the producers, and she said that she was from New York, but she was really from like upstate New York. So those of you who know, like, if you from New York, like, we don't consider nothing outside of the 5 boroughs New York. So she was from Schenectady. So he told her, you know, next time refer to yourself as being from Canada, because you so far up. So now she laughed so much, he even forgot that he was there for Jada. They laughed so much, they even went to dinner the same night. And within, I believe he said about 3 months, they got married and she got pregnant. So that's where their first son, Trey, came in. And Trey, his real name is actually Willard Smith as well, but they call him Trey from birth because he's the 3rd child, and they wanted to give him sort of like his own identity. So Will Smith and Sharice started having a lot of problems with each other, and she decided that she was going to go back to Schenectady to stay with her family for a little while to, you know, figure out what she want to do with the relationship. Remember, they're married. So when she came back to LA, because Will Smith moved to LA, when she came back to LA, she decided to, you know, go out to dinner with him and see if they could try to see if they can make it work. But at this time, Will already started talking to Jada Pinkett, and he was feeling her. Like, he was really in love with her. And he expressed that while he was sitting down having lunch with Sharice, Sharice started it seems like she was gearing to, you know, she want to make it work. And then Will finally came out and said, like, you know, he started feeling sick because he knew how much in love he was with Jada. So he ended up telling Sharice, and they end up parting ways. And Will called Jada and told Jada, like, it seems like my wife want to get back with me. And although they was dating, Jada was being really understanding. She was on the phone, she was crying, of course, but she was being understanding because she said that she understands the value of family. And Will just felt like, wow, like, I really need this person. She's so understanding. So it didn't work out between Will and Sharice, and February 14th, he received divorce letters. So, sorry, he received divorce papers. So he went ahead and he was just so confused because, you know, he felt like the words like I do meant like everything. It means no divorce, none of that. Although he was still dating Jada, he still felt like, you know, I need this person to be around because I said I do. But they went ahead and they got their divorce. and it actually worked out for the better. Will Smith and Jada started dating more and more. They became, like, you know, the center of attention. He speaks very little about Tupac, but he let us know that he was a little bit jealous of Tupac because the relationship, the love that Jada had for Tupac, he wanted Jada to feel that way about him. And he still felt like he won the prize because, you know, he got to marry Jada. But Jada always had a love for Tupac, but they never really spoke. Will Smith and Tupac never really spoke. So Will Smith went ahead to talk about when they they went on vacation, but they used to go on vacation under alias, and they began to have sex. And while they was having sex, Jada automatically knew that she was pregnant. And Will Smith thought it was so funny. He started laughing at her, and she was so upset. She was so upset. She was crying, and she was really upset. So 9 months later, Jaden was born. So she was right. She knew exactly that she was pregnant. So he goes in to talk about before the baby came, before Jaden came, he wanted to get married to her, but Jada felt like marriage is not, you know, papers. Like, she didn't care about that. She wanted to go on the top of a mountain and just let it be him and her, and no pastor, just to commit to each other. But Jada Pinkett mom, they call her Glammy. She wanted her to have an actual wedding. So in Jada's second trimester, she gave up because she was really tired. So she ended up getting married to him. But the whole time she cried because that was not her belief. But they end up getting married. Will Smith just wanted to be like the best dad possible. So he wasn't able to see his son Trey as much. So Jada and Charisse, which is Will Smith's first wife, came to a conclusion that they are going to co-parent, and they was going to make it work as best as possible. So now Jada and Charisse and Will Smith raised Trey. They co-parented, so every holiday they spent every holiday together. That's big. Like, I mean, if you could be adult enough, because adults, it's hard to do it as adults. If you could be adult enough to do that, that's amazing. They spent every holiday together. Christmas, they will rent out a house, and spending the holidays to Jada means everything. Now, Willow was born, and Willow had signed a deal with Jay-Z. And after her tour, she told Will Smith, like, you know, Daddy, I'm done. And he couldn't understand, like, what do you mean you done? You signed a deal to Jay-Z. And Will Smith is a perfectionist, kind of like a perfectionist. So, you know, he always want to put his best foot forward. That's what his father instilled in him. His father had a saying of, not as good as 0%. So, meaning if it's not 100, it ain't good. So Willow told him, Daddy, I didn't sign that contract. You signed that contract. And, you know, he was like, you can't just do stuff like that. If you make a commitment, like, that's what you got to do. And she basically told him, like, I didn't make a commitment. So one day she decided, my daddy's not listening to me. So she came downstairs and she cut off all her hair. And she was only 10 years old, because the song that she made was I Whip My Hair Back and Forth. So he was in so much shock. Jada wasn't happy. Jada liked punk rock music and metal music and all sorts of stuff, and they felt like they wasn't, you know, getting along with each other. They kept bumping heads, and then they came to the conclusion, and I thought it was dope. What they basically said was, we can't make each other happy. Like, I can make you happy for a moment, but you got to make yourself happy. So that's when they decided to, you know, take a break and figure out what they need. And while they took a break to figure out what they need, I guess that's when the whole situation with the entanglement happened. So it was kind of like both of their ideas to part ways, just to figure out, you know, what I need to do to make myself happy. Like, you know, sometimes you gotta put yourself first. And Will Smith felt like his world was ending. Like he felt like he had no control over his world. So he called one of his ex-girlfriends and asked her, could he hang out with her husband. Her husband was from Trinidad. And Queen Latifah said, you know, she had such a good time when she was with them. And Trinidad is such a beautiful place. So he wanted to go. And when he went, he thought that, you know, his ex-girlfriend husband thought that everybody gonna be cool, like nobody's gonna be like, you know, bugging you, my people's not like that. And when he got there, oh man, it was just like mayhem. Everybody in the airport went crazy when they saw him, and it was just crazy. So he actually didn't stay in the hotel. Nobody knew where Will Smith went. He just kind of like eloped with the guy, and he actually was brung back to, like, you know, brung back like to his regular mental state. Like, you know, he was saying to himself, like, nobody knows where I'm at. I'm in somebody's house in a small little room in the back. He was like, they referred to the room as the dungeon. And he said he was woken up by really good smelling food and he had a great time. But while he went on the boat, they told him that he was going down the island, right? And everybody was excited, and when they got there, everybody got off the boat and started having a good time. And he couldn't figure out for the life of him, like, what are we doing? Like, is there any jet skis around here? And everybody was like, get out and swim. Like, you know, this is it. Like, let's enjoy ourselves. And he felt like time was being wasted. So that's when it came to him, like, for him to realize, like, oh man, I don't know how to sit still. Like, that's when he figured out, like, oh man, I really don't know how to sit still. He went on an Oprah Winfrey show with his ex-wife, her husband. Everybody is always around him. They even went to Africa with him to meet Nelson Mandela. Like, they have a really good relationship, a good understanding as adults. They have a good understanding as adults. But the main part about this book that stuck out to me was when he spoke about his father dying. He basically said that he read a book that says that when people are dying, that you need a approval. Like, the people who's dying, they feel like they need a approval of it's okay to leave. Like, you know, like they want you to know, like, they want to know, like, okay, I got this. So now Will Smith said in the book, right, his father said the main thing that he wanted to know, not about his refrigerating company, not about his house, none of that. He wanted to know was my life useful? That's what he wanted to know was from Will Smith. He knew that he did a lot of things wrong, so he wanted like a confirmation, like, you know, did I do something right? Like, you know, I know all the wrongs I did, but did I do something right? And Will Smith went ahead to talk about, you know, his father at that moment noticed, like, I can't take none of this stuff with me. I can't take my business with me. I can't take my house with me. I can't take anything with me besides the fact that I know I left a good impression on my kids and I left a good impression on my family. So one day Will Smith's father called him and told him while he was on set, you know, I think tonight is the night, because Will Smith's dad was supposed to die. The doctors gave him 3 months. No, 6 weeks, and he actually lived to 3 months. So I think it was 3 months, 9 months. I think it was 9 months. But yeah, he knew the day that he was dying, and he called Will Smith and he told Will Smith, today is the day. And Will Smith actually stayed on FaceTime with his dad, and within 45 minutes his dad was gone. He crossed over. Now he spoke about the grandmother, his grandmother Gigi, the one who, you know, is a strong believer in God. He spoke about how when she died, she was excited to die because she knew that she did her part and she also knew God. She had a good relationship with God, so she was ready to go, you know. So with that all being said, this book is definitely a good read if you guys are into memoirs. Even if you're not, like, it's a really good book. And I just want to say, don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm not talking about the actual physical book. Like, don't judge what's going on between Jada and Will Smith life, because at the end of the day, if you guys were celebrities, you will want to have your privacy as well. And not only that, they decided to take a break, and Will Smith always felt like he had to please women, and I don't know the actual truth behind it, but don't judge your books by its cover. Famous people are humans just like us, you know, so they need privacy as well. So it's not fair, like, you know, for people to make a mockery of him, especially if it make you feel suicidal, you know, make you feel like foolish. So like I said, a lot of people got things going on in their personal life, and it could be similar just to that. Somebody that, you know, your wife could have had an entanglement, your husband could have had an entanglement, you know what I'm saying, and you still stuck with him because you wasn't in the public eyes. You get what I'm saying? So I just think that's corny of people to do that just because they're celebrities. Like, I hate that. But with that being said, I'm gonna finish up this makeup, and I give this book a thumbs up. It's really good. You guys should definitely check it out. Let me finish up this makeup and I'll come back with you. All right, besties, so I went ahead and I finished my makeup look, and this is the final result. This look was actually inspired by my sister Nicole, because she loves bright, vibrant colors, especially neon oranges, pinks, yellows, and neon greens. She loved those colors. So the other day she had on a pretty poppin' orange shirt. So I just was like, you know what? Let me do this makeup look inspired by my sister Nicole. So guys, this is what I got. And I hope you guys like my book review. Once I finish my next book, Somebody's Daughter, I will give you guys a review. Let me know if you guys like these book reviews, and I'll keep them coming, because like I said, I'm a big fan of reading books, so I'm always reading books. So if you guys are interested in finding out more about these books, if you want to purchase it for yourself, let me know. If you guys have any good suggestions on any books that I should read, you know, drop a comment. And like I always say, if you like what I'm doing, like, comment, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and share it to all your friends and family. Till next time, guys. Later.